Let's move it on down to the trade deadline, because we have the trade deadline coming up. That's Tuesday, November the 4th, so under a week away from that. Teams that should be buyers at the deadline. Rod is smiling. Rod, who should be a buyer at the deadline?
I'm going to go with Coach's team. The one team that he really likes is the Denver Broncos. And, Coach, for me, I'm not a big fan of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims. I think those guys are more third receivers. So I'm looking at going out and getting a receiver, a quality number 2 to go alongside Cortland Sutton. And to me, that's Rashad Bateman from the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, this is a guy that he runs excellent routes. He's got great hands, and he's just a good football player. And I believe that if they can acquire a guy like him, that can really take that offense to the next level. But a dependable number 2, Coach.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to give you one that makes a little sense and one that's out of left field. The Vikings, we've talked about them. What's wrong? They won a bunch of games last year. They got quality quarterback play. They got good defensive play. They're in the playoffs. They're struggling right now. They don't have a veteran quarterback on campus who can play. I would say with the track record of Kevin O'Connell, I'd go out and go after Jameis Winston and see if I can get him on the cheap and get that veteran guy who could come in and pick up the system like Josh Dobbs did, like Sam Darnold did, who can give us a spark and maybe take us to the playoffs next year, or this year, rather.
Hey, absolutely love that, Coach. And I think this is a guy that can come in right away, capture the locker room with his personality. He's so unselfish as a football player, as a teammate. I think that's an excellent pick. Another one that I was looking at, too, if you're the Eagles, they need that number 2 receiver, a number 2 cornerback opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. And to me, I would go look at a guy like a Stephon Gilmore, a veteran. He doesn't cost a ton of money. He's experienced. And to me, their second corner, Kaylee Ringo, he's been so up and down. But this right now, if you go get a good veteran corner, that's going to give you a chance to really stabilize that secondary. I like to keep Cooper DeJean in that nickelback position. Yep. He's very, very effective that way. I don't want to put him on the outside because I think that limits what he does as a defender. Keep him at nickel and bring in a veteran. I think that's going to help the Eagles.
Well, I'm going to give you my one out of left field now.
Please,
okay.
Please.
Mike Tomlin criticized the Cleveland Browns for giving away Joe Flacco to a division opponent who was in need. I might see if the Cleveland Browns are just crazy. And if I was a contender, I might call them and see if they're ready to give me Myles Garrett. If I'm the Bills or the Patriots or the Colts and I need that one guy to turn on my defense, maybe I give you 3 number 1s. And I'm going to be picking high anyway, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. And I get this guy, and he clicks me into a Super Bowl. Just see if Cleveland might do that.
Dude, what are you doing? Are you living in my basement or something? It's the same thing I was thinking. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, there's no way I wouldn't call Cleveland and give up those 2 first-round picks, and I would throw in a 3rd first-round pick for Myles Garrett. And you imagine getting Myles Garrett, you got Kenny Clark. You know how many other defenders would love to come to Dallas and play in Dallas? Coach, I think that's phenomenal. I was really excited about that. Or my other pick was, hey, maybe you go get like a Jeffrey Simmons, a big defensive tackle to play alongside Kenny Clark. But, Coach, I'm telling you, last night when I was doing my notes, I'm saying, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys would give up 3 first-round draft Myles Garrett, and he'll be in a great situation. Man, I absolutely love it, Coach. That's why you got me so pumped up right now.
Well, I could see Dallas doing that, and I could see one of those contenders, the Bills. Hey, maybe this guy is a shot in the arm that we need to win the Super Bowl, and I'd at least make that call.
Yeah. Garrett's from Texas, played college football down there, so knows the area. You know, he'd be ecstatic.
And Coach, not only do they get rid of Micah Parsons, who I thought wasn't a great fit personality-wise in that locker room, but you go out and you get the best defensive player on the planet.
Yeah, and who's competitive and wants to win. We saw him slamming helmets when he got 5 sacks and they lost the game. Yeah, that is what you want on your team, no question.
Absolutely.
I could also make the case that it makes sense for Cleveland. Is that crazy? I mean, Cleveland, to me, has deeper issues than one great defensive player is going to solve. And 3 first-round picks might. and getting that kind of money off the books might. Would this make sense for Cleveland too, Coach?
I think it would. And much as we saw them say, okay, Joe Flacco, we're not going to go to the playoffs this year. Let's unload that. I think it would make sense to build for the future.
Rod?
Oh, 100%. And, you bless a guy that's been so loyal to you. He's been loyal because he wanted to stay there. He could have left and got relatively the same amount of money. But to do this for a guy and if Myles Garrett actually gets traded, he doesn't understand what's going to happen to him. He's going to get this new fresh shot of energy. It's going to be like like he's a brand new football player with just the energy, the mindset, the excitement that it takes to go to another team, especially if you have a chance to win.
Like Rodney Harrison going from the Chargers to the Patriots.
Yeah. Chargers got him in the Hall of Fame one way or the other. Let's move it on down. Teams that should be sellers at the deadline. So this is the opposite, although we did kind of mention Cleveland within that. Coach, I'll start here. Teams that should be sellers are who?
I think you have to look at those teams like the Browns, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Saints. You're not in it, okay? You're not going to win this year. What do you have to do to build your team for the future? Do you have some assets that someone might want? And I think when you're in that boat, you have to look at this as a way to get draft capital for next year.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You look at some of the guys, you say, maybe we're building toward a good team, and you have a kid like a Cris Olave, if you're the Saints, and you have to pay him big money. Maybe you release him, maybe you trade him, and, you get some draft choices, and you try to build your team a little differently. But pretty much that's it. I mean, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm looking to move Jalen Waddle. I think, he's a valuable asset that they can get rid of, the big salary, and the Saints as well.
With the Dolphins winning and finally getting a win this past week, I mean, I know that they're still distant from the pack here, Coach, but you're still in the same boat.
No, I am. I'm trying to win next year. The Dolphins are not going to make the playoffs. It's going to be disappointing. They're going to finish out of the playoff race. And so it's not going to be a winning year no matter how you look at it. Get ready for the future.
Right. Coach, I'm curious, what is the trade deadline actually like? I mean, are you calling teams and they're saying, stop, click? I mean, or is everybody kind of listening? Like, what is the dynamic here?
Well, you do listen to everybody, and sometimes you just are at that point where one move can make a difference. I'll tell you, it did for us in 2006. Our nose tackle, Monte Rager, got in a car accident, and we're a contending team, and we've got a need. Hey, Booger McFarland played for me in Tampa. He knows the system. He's a guy who could come in and do it right away for us. It was the perfect storm. We called Tampa. We gave up a second-round pick the next year. I hated that because I love draft picks. But now you got a starting nose tackle that comes in right away, and he can play for you, and it helped us win a Super Bowl.
All right, so everybody's listening. Everybody, even the teams you may not.
Yeah, now they may hang up after you say, "Hey, we want 3 number 1 draft choices," but they're going to pick up the phone and listen, definitely.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so here's a little finish the sentence. Don't be surprised if blank. Rod, is there a don't be surprised if blank may happen?
Yeah, that was my 3 draft choices from the Dallas Cowboys to the Cleveland Browns. That was my whole point with that, and that's something that I would definitely do, Coach. You got 2 free first-round picks. You add another one, then you get the best defensive player on the planet, a guy like you talked about. I would be ecstatic to come in and to be that example. Myles Garrett, think about him. He's not just a fantastic player, but he's a great person having in that locker room. He's never complained. He just shows up for work every single day.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, and I kind of mentioned mine, Minnesota Vikings. Your quarterback has surgery on his labrum. You've got a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, another rookie behind him now. You don't have a veteran, and you're close to being a playoff team. I promise you they're making calls right now, and one of the calls they could be making is to the New York Giants. Hey, could your third quarterback, we'll give you something for him. Can we have Jameis Winston? And I could see that happening.
Wow, I like that. That would be something. That would be something. Do you feel like based on the offenses you've seen him play in, Coach, that he could pick up Kevin O'Connell's midseason and go be effective?
Kevin O'Connell is great that way. He has brought guys in. We had him last year, and he told me about calling the play for Josh Dobbs that Josh Dobbs had never run, and he didn't even run in practice. And he just told him on his headset, hey, here's what the call is. Look for so-and-so, and then Addison's going to be coming across, and he's your second read. And he threw a touchdown pass. Josh Dobbs had been there about 5 days. So, yes, Jameis Winston could do it, and I think you could see that happen.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, hey, he's funny, and people look at him, but trust me, this kid is really, really smart. There's no way you play on all these different teams and learn all these different systems and pick them up and be a productive quarterback and not be smart. So he's a guy that's going to come in. He's going to embrace the locker room. The locker room will embrace him, and he'll have an immediate effect. I absolutely love that coaching. And we've talked about him, could potentially being somebody's starting quarterback.
And Kevin has a way of working with those guys and bringing them in and knowing what they do best and tailoring, cutting down the game plan. Okay, we're only going to do this with you and make it work.
Yeah. I mean, when Burrow got hurt, he was one of the top picks that was floated around coming here. Mm-hmm. Zach Taylor preferred going with Flacco, so now he's still kind of available. And shoot, the Giants are in that same mode that you're talking about where it's, they're kind of playing and building for next year a bit at this point.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.